Serenading the silence, a woman meticulously dusts furniture and assorted decorative items around what appears to be a warmly inviting house. Despite her assiduous efforts, only a scant few specks of dust part from the surfaces, testifying to a meticulously maintained home where cleanliness reigns supreme. Her routine is abruptly disrupted by an irksome noise. She pauses, duster frozen mid-air, as her focus shifts to the familiar yet unwelcome sound of heavy raindrops striking the roof tiles. Without hesitation, she forsakes her cleaning and ventures outside. Slipping into her wooden sandals at the doorstep, she moves under the shelter of the veranda to retrieve an odd artifact that resembles two wooden planks conjoined in the shape of a roof, with a handle secured centrally and pointing downward. Using this improvised umbrella, she strides purposefully through her lavishly kept backyard. On the periphery of a field, two men kneel, engaged in the painstaking assembly of a small pagoda by interlocking medium-sized logs. The woman approaches and gently touches the shoulder of the elder man, saying, "Husband, it's raining. Come back home." He looks up, feeling the raindrops on his face, just as his wife shields him with the makeshift umbrella. Noticing the younger man's look of relief at the idea of seeking shelter, Ban swiftly stands and drapes an arm around her, ensuring they both fit under the umbrella. Turning to the apprentice, she commands, "Kunsheng, let's head home." With a sigh of relief, he responds, "Thank you, Madame Yunshi." Back at home, Yun fetches a towel and gestures for Ban to sit at the table so she can dry his hair. She reprimands him gently. "I've told you many times not to work in the rain. You'll get sick again, and we can't afford a physician right now." Lost in his thoughts, Ban replies, "I'm working on a new way to improve frame assembly. If it works, it could double the speed of building construction. That means I could take on twice as much work and earn twice as much money." His wife counters, "People are very pleased with your innovations, but without new orders, we won't be able to put rice on the table, and we have 2 hungry children to feed." As he rests his hand gently on the calf of her leg, Ban acknowledges, "You're right. I should secure a new project. Tomorrow I will visit Master Jing. He has been requesting my services for weeks now." Yun replies, "I've heard that a lot more people have been asking for you lately. Please, don't turn down the work." As he caresses down toward her ankle, Ban concedes, "Indeed, I must place our family's needs at the forefront." Just then, their son enters the room, causing Ban's hands to shift onto the table. Yun mentions she'll start cooking before lighting the fire in the clay fireplace. "Ming, do you know where your sister is?" she asks. He replies negatively before sitting down and adding, "Shu might be in your workshop." Puzzled, Ban asks, "Why would she be spending time in my workshop? What is she building?" At his query, Yun smiles while preparing the food, and Ming rolls his eyes. Ban continues, "Ming, go fetch Shu and Kunsheng." Ming mumbles as he stands, "I'm sure they won't be hard to find." Ming steps into the workshop enveloped in silence. As he nears the outer door, his sister's laughter trickles out. Upon opening the door, he discovers Shu and Sheng seated together beneath the porch. Their proximity slightly too intimate by cultural norms, though far from indecorous. The sound of the door prompts them to swiftly separate, establishing a decorous distance and adopting solemn expressions. As they pivot to identify the newcomer, Ming declares, "Father expects us. Dinner will be served shortly." Shu rises, adjusting her attire meticulously. Sheng's gaze lingers on the departing siblings, while Ming throws a fleeting look back at Sheng. Ming and Shu proceed to the living area, where Ming occupies a seat to his father's left at the square table, with Shu settling adjacent to her brother. Ban tenderly lifts his clay cup, gently blowing across the tea to temper its heat before sipping. The solitary sound in the otherwise still room. Sheng follows them in, and mirroring the children, seats himself across from Ban. Yun arranges additional cups on the table and serves the trio of youths before pouring herself a cup. She then takes her place, relishing her tea with the group in quiet anticipation of the meal. Ban has always been a man of few words. During tea time, silence enveloped the room. Yoon serves a simple dinner of rice and vegetables. It is Ban who breaks the silence, addressing Sheng. Tomorrow, continue carving the beams as I demonstrated for the pagoda. Yoon, ever the astute observer, notices the subtle exchanges of glances between Sheng and Shu, confirming the suspicions she has harbored for weeks. As she brings a ball of rice to her mouth with her chopsticks, she observes her husband, who remains oblivious to the budding relationship unfolding right before his eyes. After 18 years of marriage, she knows him well. He wouldn't notice a panda sitting on his lap, a thought that amuses her silently. The next day, Ban makes his way to Master Jing's residence, skillfully avoiding the puddles on the muddy road left from the previous day's rain. Upon arriving at Master Jing's estate, a grand home that reflects Jing's success in the limestone quarry business, augmented by a lucrative trade in marble and some jade imports, Ban pauses at the steps of a heavy wooden door. He cannot help but admire the door's sturdiness and meticulous craftsmanship. As a carpenter, he habitually inspects any woodwork he encounters, particularly when it's one of his own creations like this imposing door and frame. Upon entering Jing's office, Ban notices Jing rising to greet him. "Ban, my good friend, it has been too long," Jing exclaims, clasping Ban's shoulder at arm's length, a departure from traditional greetings. Ban has always considered Jing an eccentric, a trait that adds to his charm and bolsters his success as a businessman. Returning a modest bow, Ban responds, "I am well, Master Jing. I trust you and your family are thriving too." Guiding Ban towards a low table, Jing invites, "Please, take a seat. Would you care for some tea?" "No, thank you. How may I assist you today?" Ban inquires. Barely seated for a moment, Jing springs up, his vitality unmistakable. "I have a project for you. Come with me," he says, leading Ban outside to the back of the house. There, Jing outlines his vision for an extension, a grand room measuring 20 by 30 feet. "I want only the finest to showcase my wealth and mastery. The walls will be of limestone from my quarries, the floors of marble, adorned with jade statues, and roof tiles from Master Tang. But first, I need you to craft a sturdy frame for this project. I want the best, and that means I need you." Reflecting for a moment, Ban states, "It will take me 4 weeks to construct a frame worthy of your status, Master Jing." "How much?" Jing inquires. After a moment's contemplation, Ban answers, 8 silver ingots. He hesitates before adding, "Would you be kind enough to advance half so I can acquire the appropriate wood for this endeavor?" Jing nods in agreement. Tentatively, Ban probes further. "Master Jing, you are well regarded in your industry. Could you direct me to others who might require my skills for upcoming projects?" For the first time since their meeting, a flicker of tension crosses Jing's face. After a pause, he softly suggests, "Join me for a walk in my garden." Jing's garden splendidly mirrors his stature, meticulously tended with an array of plants and trees that beckon a chorus of tweeting birds, composing a tranquil atmosphere. Ban, feeling out of place, hesitates to break the silence, troubled by Jing's continued quietness. Eventually, Jing speaks. "Master Gongshu Ban, you are the finest carpenter I've encountered. Your craftsmanship is unrivaled, and the innovative tools you've crafted to achieve such quality are truly groundbreaking. People not only seek, they demand your expertise. However, you cannot leave your patrons' requests unattended. If they cannot secure services from the best in the land, they will settle for the next best. Master Hao Ran, while skilled and efficient, is gaining ground because he completes the tasks given to him." Ban remains composed, yet he feels a sting from Jing's words, acknowledging their truth. Jing continues, "Currently, I'm unaware of any projects that require your unique skills." After another pause, he adds, "It pains me to say this, but you should meet Feng Jian." Ban reacts with surprise. "The tax collector. I never imagined he would part with his money while still breathing." Jing smiles and elaborates. "Indeed, his soul seems bound to his gold. He mentioned a competition for the realm's finest tradesmen, with substantial prize money for the winner. I didn't inquire further. The less I interact with him, the better for my chi. Unless you owe him money, you might consider finding out what this is about. Ban expresses his gratitude to Jing for the information as they wrap up their pressing business matters. Outside Jing's property, Ban gazes upward at the clouds, his thoughts deeply absorbed by the reality check Jing had given him. He turns his head to the left in the direction of his home, contemplating his family, his children, and the profound trust his wife places in him. Then, looking right towards the city center, he considers confronting Feng Jian to potentially secure some financial opportunities. As he reflects, a cart brimming with vegetables and pulled by a hurried man bumps into Ban, snapping him back to the present. The man continues on, unapologetically. Shaking off the interruption, Ban follows the cart, heading in the same direction he had resolved to pursue. The official building where the tax collector can be found is adjacent to the main plaza. Approaching his destination, 2 streets away, Ban spots Feng Jian exiting a small shop, flanked by 2 city guards. Despite his wealth, Feng Jian is dressed plainly, a commoner among the affluent. Recalling Jing's words, Ban quickens his pace towards them. "Official Feng Jian!" Ban calls out, bowing slightly as he approaches. Feng Jian barely nods in acknowledgement and continues walking. Undeterred, Ban persists. "Official Feng Jian, please, may I have a moment?" Feng Jian, still walking, turns to Ban and asks, "Master Gongshu Ban, as far as I'm aware you owe no debts. What do you want?" Ban replies courteously, "Good day to you too. If it's not too much trouble, I have a question to ask." "You may ask," Feng Jian responds, clearly irritated. "I apologize for the interruption, especially during your business. But I've heard there is a competition, and I was advised to speak with you about it." Feng Jian stops and looks at Ban more attentively. "There is indeed such an event. Your expertise could certainly qualify you for this competition. When I received the official notification, I thought of you, though I wasn't sure you'd be interested, given your current engagements. Official Feng Jian, I am always eager to showcase my craftsmanship. May I inquire about the details of this competition?" Feng Jian explains. Duke Ai of Lu has organized a challenge among his subjects to present something that would benefit his army. The winner will receive 5 gold ingots. The contest is scheduled a week after the new year, giving you about 7 months to prepare, should you decide to participate. Good luck if you choose to enter. Farewell, Master Gongshu Ban. As Feng Jian departs, Ban bows deeply, thanking him and wishing him a pleasant day. At home, after updating his wife Yun about the new project for Master Jing and checking on Sheng's progress on the pagoda, Ban settles at the table in the living room to sketch a frame for Jing's project on bamboo slips. This type of design flows effortlessly for Ban, his brush gliding smoothly as his thoughts drift toward potential machinery for the Lord of the Land. Familiar with machines of war, Ban's mind first considers the ballista, essentially an oversized crossbow. Dismissing the idea as too simple, he envisions a device capable of launching heavy projectiles into enemy ranks. Picking up another bamboo slip, he quickly doodles a basic mechanism. A lever system where 2 men pull down an arm with a stone on the opposite end. With Yun busy with housekeeping nearby, Ban decides to return to Jing's project to avoid any comments about neglecting his paid work. Less than a month later, Jing's project is complete, and he is thrilled with the outcome, particularly the enhanced beam interlocking system Ban refined from his own pagoda work. The wooden frame is smooth, and the beams integrate flawlessly into one another. Jing's associates, too, commend the superior craftsmanship, which subsequently attracts 2 new clients for Ban. Ban is now deeply engaged in the contest, which he finds invigorating on multiple levels. It allows him the freedom to unleash his creativity within his profession, unbounded by usual constraints. And the competitive element spurs him to excel beyond his typical standards. However, there are drawbacks. The project offers no financial reward unless he secures the prize, and he must juggle it with his regular work to avoid conflict at home. He is aware that his wife would not be pleased with him dedicating time to creating what she might see as a weapon of destruction. To mitigate this, He has framed the device as a piece for a contest focusing on a game and precision, intended for the upcoming New Year celebrations. Accordingly, Ban designs a smaller model of the device, which can be scaled up later if needed. Ban has decided to allocate no more than 1/5 of his time to the contest. While other craftsmen might hire additional hands to manage day-to-day projects, Ban prefers not to entrust his designs to anyone else. Even Sheng, his apprentice of 2 years, isn't left to work independently. For Ban, the devil is in the details. For Am, meanwhile, regular orders keep Ban sufficiently busy, providing a steady income for daily expenses, though no large-scale projects which really bring in significant revenue are on the horizon. For now, this arrangement suits Ban just fine. Ban is particularly heartened by his daughter's interest in his work. She spends her free time in the workshop, watching her father at work, or helping assemble various logs before they are shipped to clients. Having her by his side fills him with joy. She often offers insights on Sheng's work, suggesting ways to straighten a line or improve a curve. She has an eye for detail just like her father, Ban reflects with a smile. Autumn has fully taken hold, painting the landscape in a palette of vibrant hues. The fields, now barren post-harvest, begin to feel the bite of cooler days. It's time to test the new device at the far end of their land, near the pagoda. A spectacle not to be missed by Shu and Ming. The former millet field, now a patchwork of soil and weeds, serves as the perfect testing ground. The contraption they're testing consists of a sturdy frame supporting a long pivoted arm. At one end of the arm hangs a basket designed to hold the projectile. At the other, ropes are attached, requiring the strength of 2 men to operate. This simple yet effective design is capable of hurling stones or logs significant distances. Shu and Ming line up 5 stone projectiles, each weighing approximately 4 pounds, preparing for the initial launch. The arm is nearly balanced in its resting state, facilitating the loading of the projectiles. On a count of 3, Ban and Sheng pull with all their might, sending the first stone flying about 40 feet before it embeds itself deep in the softened earth. The force of the launch is halted by their firm grip on the ropes. Their successful first attempt prompts a round of jubilant congratulations. Energized, they load a second stone, which, despite following the same procedure, lands slightly shorter and veers to the right. They continue with the remaining stones, each launch bringing joy and amusement to the group. Despite these successful tests, Ban is concerned about the accuracy and range of the device. Later, sitting alone in his workshop as night quickly falls, he studies his creation. A thoughtful frown crosses his face as he muses. This looks too much like a catapult. I know I can do better than this. After dinner, Yun and Shu clear the dishes while the 3 men linger at the table. Ban sits silently, his gaze lost in his teacup. Ming and Sheng exchange glances, both waiting for a nod to excuse themselves. Ban's silence is more pronounced nowadays, unusual even for him, who has always been sparing with words. Ban picks up his teacup and a cloak, then steps out to sit on his veranda. Taking this as their signal, the 2 young men spring up as if on cue and hurry out of the room, vying playfully with each other. Outside, Ban observes the bare trees and the dormant landscape, dotted with sparse white patches of snow under a gray sky. He has never been fond of winter. It hampers his work with its biting cold. Only the occasional caw of crows pierces the silence. Meanwhile, Ming plays outside, disregarding his mother's admonitions to keep his clothes clean. At his age, his energy seems boundless. Armed with his sling, Ming takes a shot at a bird scavenging for food on the ground, then dashes into the flock before looping back to start again. Ban's eyes snap open at the startling revelation. He rushes into his workshop, positioning himself in front of his device. While inspecting it, Sheng, slightly disheveled, emerges from his sleeping area. Without hesitation, Ban tears off the basket designed to hold the projectiles. "Young man, we have work to do. Fetch the strongest and largest piece of hemp fabric my wife has," he commands, oblivious to the fact that his daughter has also appeared, coming from the same direction as Sheng. Grabbing his tools, Ban begins to sketch directly onto the wood where the basket was, drawing a circle in a groove. When Sheng returns, Ban instructs him to carve the shape into the device's arm while he takes the large piece of hemp and begins to paint on it with a brush. Ban steps back to review his sketch. It resembles a much larger version of the leather part of his son's sling. With a piece of rope in hand, he leaves the workshop to find his wife. In the living area, Ban sets his materials on the table, then approaches his wife from behind as she washes dishes. He gently guides her by the shoulders to the table and motions for her to sit. "Wife, I need you to cut, sew, and reinforce this pattern for me, especially the 2 loops at the ends," he requests in a tone more commanding than usual. Yoon finds his behavior unusual, but retrieves her sewing kit and begins to work without protest. Once again, the machine is hauled to the edge of the property, where the ground now lies frozen and hard. The entire family gathers to watch. As Ban conducts a final inspection, the same 5 projectiles are aligned for testing. He carefully positions a stone in the pouch, ensuring it's securely nestled between the guiding rails. "For the first shot, we'll not use full power. I'm uncertain how the projectile will behave," Ban announces, gesturing for his family to move back for safety. He and Sheng then pull the ropes. The pouch functions as intended, and the stone lands slightly short of the previous attempt's distance. Everyone falls silent, waiting for Ban's reaction. Outwardly, he remains expressionless, though internally he is satisfied. The sling released the stone later than anticipated, but he suspects that increasing the tension in the ropes might correct this. Ban reloads the second stone himself and calls for full power. As he predicted, this shot travels at least 20 feet farther than those in the initial tests. Cheers erupt from the group, except for Ban, who merely smiles, and his wife, who appears unimpressed. As they continue firing the remaining projectiles, the results are consistent, and notably, the shots do not deviate much. However, Ban is troubled. With his deep understanding of wood behavior, he can hear the subtle cracks forming within the frame. He reflects, "The strain is too much. I have less than a month to reinforce the entire framework." Ban walks through a misty rain toward the city plaza, 5 days past the New Year celebrations. Decorations and symbols of horses adorn houses and businesses, with small wooden horses sold as tributes to the year of the wood horse. Even his family crafted a few as gifts, honoring the new year. While Ban generally dismisses omens, he can't help but feel a connection this year to his invention, musing that perhaps his ancestors are on his side. Reaching a covered hall, Ban finds men waiting to be hired for day jobs. He often recruits here for the strenuous task of lifting timber, allowing his regular workers to concentrate on finer assembly tasks. Today, Ban scans for the 2 strongest and heaviest men available. Despite their heavy winter clothing, their robust build is evident. He selects 2 candidates, explaining that he needs them for half a day today and a full day the day after tomorrow, though he withholds details of the actual work. The men, generally undiscriminating about the nature of work as long as it pays, agree to the terms. Yoon steps outside with a bucket of used water just as her husband walks up, accompanied by 2 sizable men heading toward the workshop. The stark contrast between her husband's average stature and the towering figures beside him raises a flicker of concern within her. Yoon prefers forewarning when strangers are brought into their proximity. With a light frown, she empties the bucket into the front yard and returns inside, her disapproval silent but palpable. The eagerly anticipated day for Ban has finally arrived, marked by a bright and clear sky. Though the air is brisk with cold, as evidenced by thin layers of ice melting into puddles under the sun's warmth. Inside, Yoon meticulously adjusts Ban's official robe, while the sounds of Shu and Ming playfully bickering in the next room betray their excitement for the day's event. In a quiet moment alone, Yoon shares a deep, heartfelt kiss with her husband, wishing him good luck. Outside, Sheng and the hired men wait by the device, shrouded under a hemp covering. Ban carefully lifts the fabric, checking that everything is in place, and the stones are securely fastened. Yoon steps out to bid the group farewell, expressing her regret at being unable to attend due to her responsibilities. her apology hinting at her disapproval of the contest's true nature. Ban heads the procession, consisting of 6 individuals and the device. His children follow closely behind, while one man pulls the device with a rope and another pushes from behind. Shen takes up the rear, attentively ensuring that everything proceeds smoothly. As they move, Ban observes a steady stream of people heading towards Duke Ai of Lu's castle. Upon reaching their destination, his suspicions are confirmed by a crowd congesting the entrance to the main esplanade. Uncharacteristically, Ban forcefully makes his way through the crowd, raising his voice to clear a path. Unusual for him, but he's determined not to let anything obstruct their progress to the contest. The esplanade buzzes with onlookers, all eager to witness the innovative solutions brought forth by the realm's most brilliant minds. Before Ban's turn, 4 contestants present their innovations to Duke Ai, who sits enveloped in thick furs, flanked by his 2 young daughters, military advisors, and various generals. Ban knows the young duke faces pressure from the Tian family, who are threatening the southern border. Each participant is required to explain their invention's purpose and demonstrate its effectiveness. Across the courtyard, a dozen straw dummies donned in enemy armor, helmets, and shields stand ready for the demonstrations. The first contestant unveils a tall shield equipped with a horizontal plate designed to protect its bearer from overhead projectiles like arrows. While innovative and potentially useful, Ban notes its impracticality in close-quarters combat. The second contestant introduces a formidable device, a 10-foot diameter spinning wheel outfitted with lethal blades, pushed towards the straw dummies and slicing through them at knee height. The spectacle is impressive, yet the device's flaws are glaring. Its slow movement would allow enemies to easily sidestep it, and the operators, exposed and vulnerable, would likely fall victim to arrows and spears long before reaching their target. Despite its drawbacks, the crowd finds the display entertaining. The third contestant proposes a new battle strategy, but offers no physical demonstration, earning jeers and boos from the audience, leaving the innovator dejected and humiliated. The fourth contestant showcases a large kite with bladed edges, intended to be flown high, and then dropped into enemy formations to inflict maximum damage. Unfortunately, a lack of wind hinders a live demonstration, but the inventor enthusiastically simulates the kite's attack with a theatrical dance, pretending to dive and stab at the enemies multiple times. This amusing performance draws laughter from the crowd, and even Duke Ai cracks a smile at the inventive yet comical display. Now it's Ban's turn. "My lord," he declares, bowing briefly, "I am Gongshu Ban, a humble carpenter from the grand city of Qufu. Allow me to present my latest invention. This is not merely a machine to instill fear in your adversaries, but one that will vanquish them before they even glimpse it. This device, if deployed in adequate numbers, will ensure victory against mightier armies. Please behold the Xuanfengche." With a gesture, Ban signals Sheng to remove the cover. In an awkward moment, the fabric catches on a hook, delaying the unveiling. The men then push the device forward to align with the targets, placing recoil blocks behind each wheel, as they had practiced 2 days earlier. Sheng meticulously loads a stone into the sling and positions it correctly. The 2 strong men stand ready, ropes in hand. Standing next to the device, Ban exchanges a brief affirming glance with his children. Quietly gauging the distance to the targets, he instructs softly not to use full power, then loudly proclaims, "Be ready, my lord, for this is the future of your army," signaling the men to pull. Perhaps nervous under the gaze of the crowd, the men yank the ropes too forcefully, sending the projectile overshooting its mark and penetrating the roof tiles of a building behind the target area. Ban quickly calls for another stone to be loaded, this time emphasizing that the men should pull less vigorously. Unaware of the stir his first attempt has caused among the audience and the intense discussions among the dignitaries, Ban orders the second shot. This time, spectators behind the straw dummies scatter to avoid potential mishaps. The stone falls short, rolling unevenly across the courtyard tiles between 2 targets. Embarrassed by the underwhelming performance of his invention, Ban turns to Duke Ai to apologize. "My lord, I apologize for this failure. I will," he begins. But Duke Ai interrupts him, standing to speak firmly. "Master Ban, we wish to see more. Keep on shooting." Acknowledging the Duke's command, Ban bows deeply and quickly orders another stone to be loaded. The next projectile strikes a target squarely on the shield, spinning the dummy before it topples over. The fourth stone whizzes past the heads of two targets, then ricochets off a wall, causing minimum damage. The final stone completely shatters one of the dummies, scattering straw everywhere in a dramatic puff, which draws cheers and applause from the crowd. Having exhausted his projectiles, Ban turns to find Duke Ai deep in discussion with his generals, gesturing towards the area where the targets were placed. Ban is then asked to step aside as the competition proceeds. It becomes apparent that the subsequent competitors fail to capture the Duke's attention, who shows minimal interest in their demonstrations. As the event concludes, the court official announces the winner in a subdued and somewhat anticlimactic manner, declaring Master Gongshu Ban as the victor. The crowd responds with unified cheers for Ban, who is then summoned by the Duke. Approaching the Duke, Ban is personally congratulated on his marvel. The Duke adds as he nods to the respectful bowing carpenter, "You will be contacted shortly." The following day, an envoy from Duke Ai, accompanied by 12 soldiers, arrives at Ban's home. Ban and Yun greet the envoy and two soldiers who carry a heavy box into the living room and place it on the table before stepping back outside. Opening the wooden box, the envoy reveals 100 silver ingots. "Master Gongshu Ban, please accept this reward from Duke Ai of Lu as the winner of the competition," he announces. Ban notes to himself that the original prize was meant to be 5 gold ingots, but he reasons that receiving the equivalent in silver is more practical. The envoy then conveys another request from the Duke. "Lord Ai requests you to produce 20 of your Xuanfeng Che machines for delivery as soon as possible, including training for our troops. We will discuss the pricing for each unit shortly." He adds on a more personal note, "Congratulations, Master, on your impressive demonstration yesterday." After the envoy and his accompanying soldiers depart, Ban and his wife bow respectfully. Alone again, they embrace, then run their fingers over the silver ingots, almost in disbelief at their fortune. In celebration and gratitude, Ban buys fine jewelry for his wife and daughter, a crafted knife for his son, and gives a bonus to Sheng. By the height of summer, the order was fulfilled. The 20 Xuanfeng Che machines were proudly displayed on the same esplanade where the competition had taken place, with each crew fully trained and ready for Duke Ai's inspection. Within a year, Ban's newfound wealth enabled him to enhance his living quarters. But more importantly, he significantly expanded his workshop to accommodate large orders. Shu, his daughter, became a constant presence by his side, assisting in every way she could. Ban came to value her insights, recognizing that she had inherited his keen eye for detail, a trait he sometimes wished his son possessed. Life for the Ban family settled into a routine marked by a stream of projects for various buildings and temples. However, this normalcy was interrupted in early spring when the same envoy from before arrived with a message. General Hao Ran was requesting Ban's presence at the palace the following day. "Master Gongshu Ban, it is a pleasure to see you again." General Hao Ran greets Ban warmly as he arrives at the palace steps. He escorts Ban to the palace's weapon storage building. "Master, your war machines significantly impacted our last campaign. Their effectiveness stemmed not from their sheer destructive capability, but from the fear they instilled, which disrupted the enemy's ranks and made our counterattacks more effective," he explains, pointing towards one of Ban's devices in storage. "As you can see, we've added 2 more ropes to allow 4 men to operate it, thus increasing the range. However, we believe we've maxed out this design's potential, and I've been advised to consult you on upgrading it. The Duke has authorized an additional 100 silver ingots for you to create a newer version that can achieve longer range and handle a heavier load. We envision the Xuanfeng Che machine being operated by 10 men and having at least double its current range, while still being mobile." Ban responds promptly and confidently. "It is my great honor to serve the Duke in my capacity. I believe I can meet your requirements within 3 months." Very well, the general exclaims, giving Ban a hearty slap on the back in a show of camaraderie. It takes Ban only 2 days to devise a new design. Presenting it to Sheng, he explains, "We can't just scale up the old design. The increased load would quickly wear out the wooden mechanism. We'll need bronze and an oil-based lubricant to effectively transfer the force from the men to the projectile. Moreover, we'll need to enlarge the docking area for the 10 ropes required, altering how the load is distributed. Let's start with a small-scale prototype to test this concept first." The construction of the prototype progresses smoothly. During this phase, Ban receives troubling news from one of his construction sites where a temple is being built, necessitating his immediate attention. Before he leaves, he instructs Sheng to continue with the finishing touches and assembly of the new arm onto the frame. After returning late the next day, Ban reviews Sheng's work. Initially, everything appears to be in order. However, when he attempts to balance the arm, Ban notices it is overly front-heavy, causing it to stay upright in its resting position rather than returning to its original position for reloading. Upon examining the blueprints, Ban realizes that Sheng replicated the orientation used in previous models, failing to consider the additional weight from the expanded rope docking area. This oversight prompts Ban to sharply critique Sheng, who is remorseful, while Shu looks on, distressed by her father's fury. Abruptly, Ban stops his lecture, and silence falls over the room. Ban then tests the arm by pushing it towards the loading position. When he lets go, the arm springs back upright with an oscillating motion before stabilizing. Ban repeats this action several times, each time observing the same behavior. Sheng and Shu exchange worried glances, questioning whether Ban is acting irrationally. Unperturbed, Ban positions the arm back in its loading stance and releases it. The arm overshoots its vertical position in a wide arc before returning to it. He performs this test 4 more times, consistently replicating the outcome. Ban calmly states, "Let's fix that." After repairing and testing the prototype, construction of the full-sized machine begins. This version of the Xuanfeng Che, being 3 times larger, necessitates additional labor. One evening, under a full moon's glow in the warmth of the night, Ban and Yun lie in their matrimonial bed. Ban quickly drifts off to sleep, while Yun fidgets, her fingernails clicking softly. She turns to Ban and says, "I don't want you to create any more war machines. We have enough money and your business is doing well now." With his eyes still closed, Ban replies, "I already took the contract. I will honor my words." Yun continues, "I know that I will help you with the weaving for your first delivery, but then I want you to quit." Ban turns his back to her and murmurs, "We will see." Yun, dissatisfied with his response, decides to drop the subject for now. The new war engine, too large for Ban's workshop, has to be assembled outdoors. Even with 10 additional workers, moving the machine, mounted on 8 large wheels across the field, proves difficult. However, the test proceeds as expected. The first projectile flies beyond the field and lands in a neighbor's backyard, eliciting cheers from the men while Ban frowns, foreseeing potential disputes with the neighbor. The streets where Ban lives are too narrow for the massive Xuanfeng Che. It must be disassembled, transported by cart, and then reassembled at the Duke's testing grounds, a process that consumes an entire day. At the demonstration, the Duke, General Hao Ran, and other dignitaries express their satisfaction with the performance, which meets their expectations. A 10-pound stone is launched 110 feet, embedding itself into the ground. General Hao Ran inquires about the price per unit and the potential production volume. Reflecting on his wife's wishes, Ban gives a non-committal response, noting that his workshop's capacity is limited, and the costs of producing such a large machine are significantly higher than those for smaller models. Considering this, the general advises the Duke to field test the machine before allocating more funds for its mass production. Life has resumed its usual pace with construction underway at the temple. Recently, persistent rain has been challenging both the effectiveness of Ban's roof waterproofing and his patience. The constant rainfall halts all outdoor activities. While Yun is occupied with fulfilling a weaving order, Ming, out of boredom, is incessantly bothering Shu and Sheng. Meanwhile, Ban is troubled by a deep sense of unease, as his inability to work stirs his internal demons. Stepping outside, the rain is so heavy that the trees in front of his house blur into the background, while water cascades off his roof, gradually eroding the ground below. Weary of the incessant rain, Ban makes his way to his workshop to look at the small-scale prototype of the large Xuanfeng, recalling the oscillating incident. He grabs a plank of wood and sets it on a small log on the floor, then calls for Sheng. Moments later, Sheng arrives with Ban's children, who are likely expecting some entertainment. Ban positions himself at one end of the plank and instructs Sheng to stack enough wood on the other end to counterbalance his weight. Sheng diligently gathers spare pieces of wood, arranging them until there's a noticeable lift on Ban's side of the scale. After reviewing the setup, Ban concludes, "This is too much. It won't work. I need something denser." With that, he dismisses everyone, seeking solitude. The rain has finally ceased. For the past 2 days, Ban has secluded himself in his workshop, working diligently alone. He made an unusual request, sending Sheng with carts and oxen to Master Jing's quarry to fetch a large quantity of sandstone blocks that were deemed unsuitable for commercial purposes. When Sheng returns to Ban's home, he notices significant changes to the machine. Master Ban has replaced the previous multiple ropes with a large, thick wooden basket that swivels, situated where the ropes once were. Much like the error Sheng previously made, the machine is now front-heavy, causing the arm of the device to awkwardly stand upright in a vertical position. Now just a single rope dangles a few feet below where the sling is mounted. Sheng is puzzled by these alterations. It looks as if the operation of the machine has been completely inverted. Upon spotting Sheng, Ban calls out, "Good boy, you're here. Help me push the device outside next to the cart." Ban and Sheng fill the basket with limestone blocks, using them as a counterweight. And Sheng begins to grasp Ban's intentions. Ban aims to balance the weight equivalent to 2 men in the counterweight. The frame of the device creaks under the added load. The machine has now become too heavy for easy movement, and with the ground softened, the wheels would undoubtedly get stuck if they attempted to move it with the oxen. Ban tiptoes toward the front of his house, peeking through the window to ensure his wife is occupied, before returning and deciding to conduct the test fire from their current location. Ban pulls the rope with all his strength, lifting the counterweight and bringing the arm into its loading position. Unseen by Sheng, Ban secures a wooden pin at the side of the lower frame, and together they tie the rope there. The machine groans under the strain. Sheng loads a 4-pound projectile. Ban instructs Sheng to step back as he raises a heavy wooden hammer to shoulder height and with a precise strike, knocks the pin out, releasing the counterweight with a loud thud, which sends the projectile soaring nearly 100 feet into the field, double the distance achieved by the 2-rope Xuanfeng. Amazed, Sheng is about to praise his master when Ban interrupts, pointing to a second projectile. "Not now, apprentice." He quickly reloads the machine, and the second stone launches, landing close to the first. Triumphant, Ban exclaims, "I did it. My machine now has both range and accuracy. It can be scaled up indefinitely if necessary." His voice filled with pride. He then instructs, "Unload the counterweight. We need to conceal the machine back in the workshop." 2 weeks later, while Yun is tidying the house, a voice from outside calls for Ban. She opens the door to find a soldier beside his horse. "Are you Madame Gongshu?" the soldier inquires. Yun confirms, "Yes, that's me. How may I help you?" "I need to speak with Master Gongshu Ban," the soldier says with respect. "I'll fetch my husband for you," Yun responds and quickly heads back inside. Moments later, Ban steps out, accompanied by Yun. "Greetings, Master Gongshu Ban. General Hao Ran urgently requests your presence to oversee the operation of the Xuanfeng on the front lines," the soldier announces formally. Ban, hesitant to travel, begins to think of an excuse to postpone the trip when the soldier interjects, "This isn't a just request from the general. I was sent to escort you to our forward camp. If we leave now, we can arrive just after sunset." "Very well," Ban concedes. "Give me a few moments to prepare." In record time, Ban and Sheng ready the cart and oxen, loading some tools. Shu prepares the equivalent of 6 meals, wrapping them in a towel and filling 2 bamboo containers with water. Yunshu and Ming Albao as the cart and the horsemen depart. As the sun rises, the bustling activity of the camp rouses Ban, who is still exhausted from the journey. The trip had taken longer than anticipated, leaving Ban and Sheng with little sleep. Although they couldn't make it out in the dim light upon their arrival, the first rays of dawn now reveal the camp's tallest structure standing beside the trees, the large Xuanfeng Che. Standing next to it, Ban is greeted by the general, who expresses his pleasure. "I'm glad to see you accepted my invitation, Master Gongshu Ban. Isn't she a beauty?" he says, gesturing towards the machine. Ban, not wanting to argue about why he's there, simply replies that he is pleased to serve the Duke. The general then says, "After breakfast, I'd like you to ensure the Xuanfeng Che has been assembled correctly. My engineers have reported it's not operating as smoothly as when it was first delivered to the palace." Ban and Sheng spend the morning inspecting, adjusting, and lubricating the machine. When the general returns, pressing for the machine to be ready as soon as possible, Ban, wiping oil from his hands, informs him that the assembly was incorrect, and the device would have malfunctioned after a few uses if it had been operated as it was. The general, seeking reassurance that it is now ready, receives confirmation from Ban. Immediately, the general orders the Xuanfeng Che to be moved to the front line. 20 men quickly attach ropes to the machine and begin hauling it toward a valley just outside the woods. By noon, General Hao, Ban, and a middle-aged man named Master Ranchu are stationed behind the ranks on the battlefield. They observe a small enemy outpost perched beside a hill. The general, eyeing the structure, remarks, "This outpost has been disrupting trade by inspecting for contraband and extorting bribes from merchants. Since Duke Dao of Song has chosen to overlook this issue, we'll handle it ourselves." Around 400 men are arrayed in formation, positioned safely out of the enemy's arrow range. The outpost, a medium-sized stone structure with a wooden tower, is targeted by the Xuanfeng Che, which looms large beside 7 smaller versions. It's estimated that no more than 50 enemy soldiers occupy the outpost. At this distance, only the large Xuanfeng Che stands a chance of reaching the structure. The general scans his troops to ensure readiness, then gives the signal for the Xuanfeng Che to commence firing. The first stone strikes the stone wall, landing with a heavy thud but causing no visible damage. Nevertheless, the soldiers erupt in cheers, using the impact more as a psychological tactic to demoralize the enemy rather than out of any real triumph. The second projectile follows, landing higher on the wall and eliciting another round of cheers. When the enemy responds with about 20 arrows that fall short, laughter breaks out among Ban's troops. A tactic Ban recognizes as a common psychological ploy to undermine the enemy's morale. He also observes the substantial stockpile of stones, indicating a strategy to maximize the use of the machine's firepower before deploying the troops directly. After 10 successful shots, the operators of the ropes are rotated, and more lubricant is applied to the pivot point, showcasing the soldiers' thorough training with the device. By the time the 15th stone hits, the targeted wall begins to show signs of weakening, much to the officers' delight. Energized by this visible success, the general reconfirms the order to keep firing, his pleasure evident and infectious, spurring the men to continue their assault with renewed vigor. 20 shots later, a significant portion of the wall crumbles. From that point forward, even from a distance, Ban observes the defenders engulfed in panic. Each subsequent hit further erodes the wall, gradually enlarging the breach until it is wide enough for men to pass through. However, the general insists on creating a larger opening to allow a massive influx of troops to storm the outpost. Occasionally, projectiles miss their mark and fly through the existing gaps, likely causing further chaos inside. As the operation continues, the pace of the shot slows, reflecting the fatigue of the men pulling the ropes. Meanwhile, the general grows visibly impatient, eager to issue the order to attack. After a few more shots, he finally commands the assault. The troops charge toward the weakened wall in unison. The smaller Xuanfeng Che machines also advance, closing the distance and opening fire, specifically targeting the archers on the wall. The army breaches the damaged wall like water bursting through a dam, forceful and relentless. The defending archers put up minimal resistance, and it isn't long before the sounds of battle are drowned out by victorious cheers. In the evening, within the general's tent, a modest banquet unfolds, hosting all ranked officers alongside Master Ranqiu and Ban. Even in the confines of a military camp, the general knows how to commemorate a victory, arranging for food and drinks to be plentiful. In a spirited, alcohol-fueled declaration, the general exclaims, "This is the greatest military victory of my career. I've witnessed many battles. In skirmishes like this, we might typically expect to lose between 150 to 250 men to secure such a stronghold. Yet we lost only 26 men. This is a monumental triumph for the Duke of Ai." As the men enthusiastically raise their cups, some of their drinks slosh over the sides. No, this isn't just our victory. This is a victory for the Xuanfengche, and indeed for you, Master Ban. Give me 100, no, 1,000 of those formidable machines, and I could topple any kingdom. Yes, my friend, you are on your way to great wealth, to Master Ban. Again the men toast, spilling more of their drinks in their fervor. Ban, caught up in the jubilant atmosphere, revels in his newfound recognition and good fortune. By the night's end, everyone except the composed Master Ranqiu shows clear signs of intoxication. The next morning, Ban and Sheng prepare to return to Qufu. As Sheng loads the tools into the cart, Ban watches, nursing a hangover from the previous night's festivities, though he tries to appear unaffected. They are approached by a captain and Master Ranqiu. Ban turns to greet them. "Master Ranqiu needs to return to Qufu today," the captain explains. "We're short-staffed. Could he possibly ride back with you?" Ban glances at the idle soldiers nearby, but decides it's no bother to help with such a simple request, and agrees. After also loading supplies sufficient for 3 people, with Sheng seated in the cargo area, they set off for the capital city at the slow pace of an ox. Silence fills the first hour of the journey. Once they clear the forest and find themselves on a narrow road amid the fields, Ranqiu breaks the silence, commenting, "Your wagon is quite comfortable," as he experiences the gentle rocking from side to side. Ban responds, "I made it myself. I placed the bench on thin bamboo slats arranged perpendicularly and layered several on top of each other. Each layer can slide over the one below it, which helps smooth out the bumps on our dirt roads." Ranqiu, impressed, remarks, "Very ingenious." "You've been working on some very interesting concepts," Ranqiu continues. "You may not recall, but I was present at your first presentation of your machine. I can assure you that everyone in the Duke's inner circle was thoroughly impressed. Despite any initial reservations about the first trial, where the first projectile overshot and damaged a building, everyone was awestruck. It was clear from the outset just how powerful your invention could be. You may not know this, but I was the tax collector before my successor. I actually inquired about you through him. He mentioned you're quite renowned for your engineering innovations, as far as he could tell. He also noted that you're punctual with your dues, something I can relate to from my time in the role." Ban listens intently to Ranqiu, while Sheng experiences a bumpy ride in the back of the cart. Ranqiu continues, "The demonstration yesterday truly highlighted the Xuanfengche's effectiveness against our enemies. The general now believes we can take the initiative in battle, given the higher enemy casualties compared to ours, even with our smaller forces. He thinks we can challenge stronger adversaries on the battlefield. I understand his logic, but I question the wisdom behind it." "What do you mean, Master Ranqiu?" asks Ban. Ranqiu explains, "Warfare is constantly evolving. It used to be conflicts between small clans with limited weapons and few casualties, leading to minimal widows and orphans. Now, within China, larger kingdoms are absorbing smaller ones, acquiring more land, wealth, and power. To survive, other kingdoms must scale up correspondingly. Eventually, the largest kingdoms will clash, potentially killing tens of thousands of men who would have preferred to work their lands, run their shops, watch their children grow, or love their wives. Your invention, while groundbreaking, tips the scales heavily in one direction. This forces the opposition to either surrender, match this new level of military capability, or find ways to counteract this advantage with more warfare technology. Ban interjects. So you believe other kingdoms will develop similar or even more powerful weapons to counter the Xuanfengche? Ranqiu confirms. Exactly. It's human nature to not be outdone. The greater the destructive power we introduce, even with good intentions, the more intense the retaliation will be. Reflecting on his own experiences and considering Ranqiu's words, Ban falls into a deep silence, pondering the implications. In his workshop, Ban uncovers his latest Xuanfengche, standing contemplatively in front of it. As Sheng enters with tools, he notices Ban's pensive stance and asks, "Are you all right, master?" Ban responds by covering the machine again, stating, "No one should know about this one." 10 days later, Sheng escorts a palace envoy to Ban. The envoy says, "Master Ban, please accept this modest fee as compensation for your assistance during the capture of the outpost. Duke Ai is very pleased with your Xuanfengche and wishes to commission 10 more." Ban ponders how to respond. Before he can speak, the envoy adds, "The Duke would also offer additional rewards if you could develop more war machines to further demonstrate our Lord's superiority over his enemies." With that, Ban turns and walks over to his table, gathers several bamboo slips with the design of the large Xuanfengche used in battle, and presents them to the envoy. "I thank the Duke for his generosity and trust in my work," Ban says, as he hands over the designs. "Please convey to the Duke that these plans for the Xuanfengche used during the battle are a gift and a sign of my respect. Unfortunately, I am unable to take on more projects due to my current workload. I am confident these plans will enable your engineers to produce as many machines as needed." The envoy, taken aback, replies, "I see. I am sure our Lord will be somewhat disappointed, but we graciously accept your gift nonetheless." They exchange salutes. As the envoy turns to leave, he adds with a hint of sarcasm, "Master Ban, do remember that Duke Ai of Lu is your lord and master. You are here to serve him in any capacity, and your loyalty must remain as steadfast as it has been." Ban remains unmoved by the envoy's words. After the envoy departs, Ban uncovers the prototype of the machine and pushes it outside the workshop. As Sheng moves to assist him, Ban sharply tells him to keep his distance. He positions the machine about 30 feet away from the workshop, then heads to the field to gather leftover straw from the previous harvest. He scatters the straw around the machine, then returns to his house and comes back with a lit candle. To Sheng's astonishment, Ban lights the straw, starting with a small fire that quickly grows to envelop the entire Xuanfengche. Alarmed by the fire in the backyard, Yun and Shu rush outside to investigate. They stop abruptly upon seeing Ban and Sheng standing motionlessly in front of the blazing machine. Realizing what is happening, Yun slowly approaches her husband, takes his hand with a reassuring touch, and stands closely beside him. Shu, unsure of the full implications but sensing the gravity of the moment, stands quietly next to her mother, understanding that no words need to be exchanged. Winter passed, ushering in the burgeoning signs of spring, promising new opportunities and rejuvenation, a time cherished by all, including Ban. 7 months had elapsed without any requests from the palace for new machines, but Ban, ever busy, paid it little mind. Rumors reached him that another carpenter had successfully started producing the Xuanfengche. The mild weather allows Ban to work with the shutters open, letting sunlight flood into the workshop. He is deeply focused on polishing a medium-sized log when Shu speaks up softly from behind him. "Father, could you come into the house for a moment, please?" Curious, Ban follows his daughter inside, brushing wood dust from his hands and clothes with a cloth. Inside, Sheng and Yun are already seated at the table, with Shu gracefully taking her place next to Sheng. Yun gestures for Ban to sit next to her, facing Sheng. Once settled, Ban inquires, "What's this about?" not directing his question to anyone in particular. The room falls silent. Shu subtly nudges Sheng with her elbow to speak. "Master Ban," Sheng begins. I can't express how grateful I am for the apprenticeship and your hospitality over the past 4 years. Learning from the best master in his craft and meeting incredible people have been true blessings. Yes, I mean, meeting someone in particular, someone now very dear to me. Puzzled, Ban probes. Someone very dear to you? What are you talking about, apprentice? Yes, master, someone I have grown to like very much. I might even say I love her very much. I'm sorry, but with the utmost respect, I need to tell you that Shu and I are in love, and we are seeking your blessing for us to get married. The room falls silent again, a heavy pause lingering as the women look down at their hands. Ban, his voice tinged with emotion, replies firmly, Kun Sheng, you are my apprentice, nothing more. I do not give my permission for you to marry my daughter. Turning to his wife, he asks sharply, Did you know about this? Throughout this exchange, Shu's eyes well up with tears unnoticed by the others. Before Yun can respond, Sheng interjects, Master, Shu and I are deeply in love and intend to be together no matter what. Ban, visibly agitated, retorts, Are you suggesting you would marry without my consent? Do you realize the consequences? You could be shunned by our community, denied work, and forced into poverty. Is that the life you wish for my daughter? No, master, Sheng replies. We want your contentment, we all do. I know I am good at my trade, and we could make our family in another kingdom. I know how to make the xuanfeng che, and I know that people would pay me well for this skill. I also know how to make the counterweight xuanfeng che. We are aware of how much you want this design to remain hidden. Please, master, accept me as your son, and your secret will die with me, I promise. Stunned by Sheng's forthright proposal, which he perceives as a form of coercion, Ban remains speechless. Yun then instructs the young couple to leave the room. Complying, they exit, with Shu quietly wiping her tears. Yun turns to face Ban when he repeats, Did you know about this? She responds gently, Yes, I did. And so does everyone else. Only you could miss the romance that's been unfolding right before your eyes. It's been developing for over 2 years. Ban, baffled, asks, How is that possible? Yun takes her husband's hand, a gesture that always has a soothing effect on him, and explains, Listen to me. This is a positive thing. According to you, Sheng is a skilled apprentice, though he still has much to learn. Shu is deeply involved in your trade, even if you refuse to see it. And our son Ming only dreams of a career in the army. This union could continue your legacy, keeping it within our family. Tell me, what were your hopes for your daughter? She's certainly old enough to marry and start a family. But she's my daughter, she's still young. She's not ready yet, she doesn't understand. Ban replies, his voice tinged with melancholy. They're both 18. Remember, you were 17 and I was 16 when we got married. I already had a baby by Shu's age. Do you think we were ready then? Yun counters. I was much more mature than Sheng is now, Ban retorts. Yun plants a kiss on her husband's lips. You were, and you've always been special, which is why I love you. Just give them your blessing. Let our family grow. I want grandchildren. Ban, suspicious, probes, What are you implying? Is Shu with child? Yun reassures him. Not at all. Shu has assured me that Sheng has respected her throughout their time together. Will you say yes? Ban nods in agreement. As Yun stands to call Shu and Sheng back into the room, Ban comments, You are too young and too beautiful to be a grandmother, but becoming one is certainly one of the greatest gifts of life. Yun turns back with a genuine smile of gratitude.